Welcome back, guys, to another beer review. You're probably wondering why I'm looking here with a smirk. This is about the 15th attempt, so I'm just going to shut up, get on with it. You're watching All the Beer No Idea. I'm Baz. The beer video we got coming up now isn't actually a review as such, but it's a comparison video. Last night I reviewed Hoegaarden from the Perfect Draft, and I've had a bottle in the fridge for a couple of months, the bottled version. So we are going to do a comparison video. I won't do a video with a pour, but I will pause the video, go over there, pour it from the Perfect Draft, then do the bottle thing, and then we'll get on with it, and then I'll give you some more rambling. So back in a tick. So we're back. As you can hear over there, the pump's going on the Hoegaarden. So the Perfect Draft Hoegaarden. We've got about a finger of white fluffy head. It's hazy, it's lemon in colour. I'm trying to see if I can see any carbonation in there. Of course there's carbonate. I've lots of little bubbles going up. So that's the Perfect Draft one. We've got the bottle one here now. They are both 4.9%. I've worked out the prices. I've got a cat here meowing, so bear with me. I'm going to pause it, boot it out the bloody door, and let me get on with the video then. Oh, he's a little bastard. I feed him, and literally it's like, he comes in, he meows, feed me, feed me, feed me. So I feed him fucking straight away, and then after he's eaten, it's like, I want to go out, I want to go out. Sorry, rant over. So I have to let him out straight away, or was it just meow all the way through it? Where were we? Yes, there's the Hoegaarden one. Both 4.9%. I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I'm going to go with the generous price on it. It is £2.49 for a 750ml bottle. Which puts that in £5 for a litre and a half. Times that by 4, 6 litres for 20 quid. The Perfect Draft version, once you've had your keg discounts, if you get the 15% keg discount and you get the £5 keg deposit back, this 6 litre keg is coming in at about £21. So there's about £1 difference. But then this could be £3 a bottle. So generally it's working out about the same. So let's get the bottle version out and see what we get. Obviously I'm not going to get it all in. I'll try and give it a vigorous pour, but it's, you know, unless you go dead straight like that, that's generally the only way you're going to get a decent head on it. So let's have a look. The first couple of pints I poured from the Perfect Draft actually did come out with a big head like that. This one's obviously gone down now. If you look at it, personally for me, I'm quite, you know, I could be wrong. Chris's Beer Reviews done a comparison video. He didn't like the Perfect Draft one, like the Hoegaarden in a bottle. Now, for me, the Perfect Draft one looks an awful lot more hazier. Awful lot more hazier. But there is still a good half a bottle in there, so the sediment could be in there, so that could change. But looks wise, I'm going to call it a draw. That looks heavily it looks a lot more carbonated, which I can't see in there, but I'm certain there is lots of bubbles. I think I can just see some coming up the side of the glass. So although the head isn't looking so good and it has been poured longer, that one is going down on itself. So I'm going to call it a draw on this one. Hazy wise, I'm preferring the Perfect Draft look, but obviously that's looking a little bit more inviting, isn't it? So we'll dive in on the nose on both of them and see what we get. Yeah, wheaty, coriander spiciness. It says brewed with orange peel. Now maybe it's my nose, I don't know, but I always sort of get like a lemon citrus for me. I suppose there is an orangey citrus there, thinking about it. Let's dive in on the bottled one, see what we get from that. Nothing. And I can genuinely say that, but I'm going to I'm going to say that some of that is to do with the rest of this beer being in there, because a lot of the sediment goes. So I'm going to pour a bit in there and see if we can get some of that out the bottom of the bottle. Yeah, it's just not the same. There's a much better aroma from this for me. You are getting that sort of coriander spiciness. A very subdued sort of citrus aroma. Yeah, for me, I mean, that's gone a little bit the same now. But certainly smelled better before. So, I mean, initially that smelled better. Chucking a bit more in there, they're both smelling about the same. So the big thing now is a taste test. And because I've chucked more in there and got another head on that, I'm guessing that's going to have a better mouthfeel. But we'll dive in and see what we get taste-wise. So cheers, everyone. Perfect draft, Hoegaarden. Body seems... I reviewed it last night. The body isn't that bad on it. There is some weight to it. But when it doesn't have that head on it, it doesn't feel watery, but it feels light. A lot lighter than it could do. But again, this has been sitting here for 5 minutes now. 6 minutes actually. There is a bit of weight to it, but does drink light. Carbonation's quite nice in it. It's quite bubbly, not big harsh bubbles, small compact sort of smooth ones. You know, and I think I said last night it drinks like, well, I didn't actually, I was thinking of another drink, but it sort of drinks pop like, if you like. And the mouthfeel is almost sort of pop like, but it is quite nice. So we'll dive in on the bottom one. The bottom one? The bottle one, I should say. The bottle one. We'll see what that's like. With that bit of head on it, it feels like it's got a bit more weight to it. A bit smoother as you drink it. And that's just because of the head. Because it's a lot more heavily carbonated than this one. And that's a downfall for it for me. It's creamier, it's smoother. But for me, body-wise, it doesn't feel as heavy. It's not as smooth in the mouth either, because that carbonation is a bit more rasping, shall we say. I'm going to keep topping this one up as well. So it's, you know, it's probably a little bit of an unfair video because this is getting fresh stuff poured in it all the time. Taste-wise, you're getting a big sort of spicy coriander feel to it, big citrus sort of hit. I did do a tiny little burp there, and I would say I got the orange sort of thing to it, even though I generally sort of pick up lemon in this for me, but it is just all sort of citrus. Thirst quenching. Yeah, it's nice enough, as I said in the video last night for it. It's a nice enough, easy drinking sort of wit beer. So we'll go in and we'll see what tasting notes we get from the bottle now. Now for me, the spiciness doesn't feel so in your face. The coriander spiciness doesn't feel so in your face. And I think the carbonation is masking that a little bit. I know that sounds strange because you think, how can that mask it? But I think there's so much sort of carbonation in the bottled one, it takes away a little bit from the taste. And for me, just go in again. Yeah. Nowhere near, for me, nowhere near the flavour of the Perfect Draft one. The bottle one, over carbonated for me, too gassy for me. The spiciness isn't there in the bottle one as it is in the Perfect Draft one. As bad as that looks, as bad as you might go, oh god, that looks awful, the spiciness isn't there in it, and the citrus sort of taste isn't quite there. You do get it, but I think you get extra from it because of the carbonation, almost, if that makes any sense. How can I put it? It's almost like, for me, the extra gas in this beer is giving it an extra pump, if you like, to push it all around your mouth. Whereas the Perfect Draft Hoegaarden, although it might look awful, feels a lot more real, a lot more natural. What you get from this glass hasn't been pumped up with gas to fool you. Whereas this one, for me, obviously being bottled, they want it to stay thingy as well. I mean, you look at that head as well. I just poured the rest in there. You know, I don't know. For me, out the two, see, there's a lot of sediment just gone in that as well now. So that's probably going to add to it. For me, if you look at these now, obviously this has kept being topped up, this one from the bottle. Looks more appealing than that, doesn't it? But for me, it's full of gas. It's too gassy compared to this. And it doesn't have that sort of rawness flavour to it. This is sort of a lot more spiciness. The citrus notes are there for me more. Whereas this one, the carbonation boosts it. It's a totally different drinking experience. I mean, we look at that. With 13 minutes in now, I'm probably boring you. Let me go and top this up for a second. Now, obviously that's been topped up a couple of times, so it's still looking good. This one's been topped up from the Perfect Draft, and that was down to about there. So I haven't put a lot in there, but look at the difference in the head, and still even in the colour. For me, this one looks a lot more darker, looks a lot hazier. So yeah, for me, the beers, the beers are different. A world apart could be a harsh word, but I do think they are, if I'm totally honest. I can see where Chris is coming from in his opinions of the bottle over that one. And I don't want to knock the bloke, and I don't want to criticise, I mean, you know, because he'll pick up different things to me in a beer, and he'll have his own taste and what have you. But for me, the bottled Hoegaarden is is pumped up by gas. The carbonation brings the flavours out. But I think the flavours are actually kind of less in it somehow. They feel less. They feel like they've been ramped up by the carbonation. It's almost like they're trying to lie to you, cheat you, if you like. The spiciness isn't so much for me. The spiciness in the Perfect Draft one and the flavour is just a lot more than this one. And I think the boost you do get for the flavour in this one is down to the carbonation. So for me, I'm going to end it now because I've been going 15 minutes. For me, Hoegaarden in a bottle, although still a lovely drink, and still very similar to that, for me it's still the Perfect Draft one that actually beats the bottle. Excuse me. And that's just, there's just something there. If you try the both, I think it's a personal preference. There'll be something there in the bottles that appeals to a certain side of people. Then there'll be something in the Perfect Draft one that will appeal to them. For me, this is the bottle one is, it almost feels like it's produced for the masses. The way it's carbonated and everything else, it's brewed for. It's hard to say this now. You've got to be sensible how you say it, but it's like, I don't know, let's say Stella, Leffe, brewed in bottles. Yeah, it goes into supermarkets. It's brewed for the masses. That's how I mean it. Whereas the Perfect Draft stuff is brewed, I don't know, it's probably all brewed the same, but I don't know, there's something with the Perfect Draft stuff that just seems authentic, seems more real, more how the beer should be, rather than trying to please people in supermarkets. I don't know, but that's my view. 17 and a half minutes in, I'm going to shut the hell up because I've probably bored you shitless now. So thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Again, opinions will be divided. It's entirely up to you what you think. Feel free to comment if you've had both of them. Let me know what you think. Feel free to subscribe, and I will see you again on another beer review. Cheers.